Has anybody seen these videos of these animals going in perfect circles? What the hell does that mean? Is that real? I don't know what's real anymore. Because videos can be edited so easily with the technology we have, so you don't even know what's real anymore. If that's true and these animals are circling in perfect circles until they die, what they're doing from what I've seen is these animals are going in circles. From the ones that are like dancing to exhaustion or death or dehydration or whatever, starving, go in the circle and they just keep circling around it. I've seen this with ants. There's some weird bird video. I wonder what that if that's real. What does that mean? The animals are telling us something, like something's coming major, and I felt like something major is coming. Like, I don't know. I've seen videos of people saying they feel like they don't want to go to work because they feel like it's pointless because there's something coming anyway. So I don't know. I've seen what I do know in my own personal experience, and that's the only thing I can really trust at this point, is constant demoralization and given a crumb to kind of give a little hope. It's like up and down day to day, and I don't think this is with just one side or one group of people, like the MAGA, the freedom lovers. I think this is with like all Americans. They're being, especially the ones that are just paying attention to everything that's happening. I think that there's this constant manipulation of complete demoralization and complete hopelessness feeling that is set on us by the circumstances that are out there, the situation. You feel like, why keep going? What's the point? This is why you see a lot of guys unliving themselves, is because at a high rate, is because they feel hopeless. They feel they have no purpose. They don't have why do I continue to do what I'm doing? A lot of people out here are fucking, their only purpose is working and consuming. They don't know anything else. Perhaps their purpose is something else, but they don't want to get out of their comfort zone to achieve that purpose, or that's all they know is just working. I think naturally men, we provide, protect, build for women, and when women decide that they don't want us no more, and in our own personal lives we don't have a woman, I think that has a really massive psychological negativity on men, and gives us a lack of purpose. We like the validation, and over the last 50 years, 70 years, men have been really immature. They've been really bad at controlling their ego and controlling their urges. They might have had a good situation. They got a good wife and kids, and they get led down a bad path with temptation, whether it's drinking, which happened a lot, or cheating on their wife, taking out the frustrations of their shortcomings of their life. They're not happy with where their life is because they felt like their potential was way higher than it was, than it is, and they've just wasted their life, and they take out their frustration on their wife by beating her when it was their own fault. I don't know what's coming, man. I've seen it looks like the elites are taking over, and then you have Elon buying Twitter. It looks like the Build Back Better was going pretty good for the elites, and now you got a massive pushback. Elon is going to have complete amnesty for banned accounts that didn't break the law or committed spam, which I completely agree with. And then you see these people on the left saying that they don't want to be a part of Twitter no more because of they don't like free speech. Well, they could say they don't like free speech and all that, but the real thing, here's the real thing. The number one priority of Elon is to get rid of child images or videos of them in adult situations, and you know what I'm talking about. I have to dance around fucking certain things. He's getting rid of that type of content off of his site, and then when he's doing that, you see all these people on the left start abandoning ship. So what does that tell me? Maybe they are anti-freedom speech. They are anti-constitution. But maybe they're pro something else. I mean, I think it's a great thing for Elon to make that his number one priority. I'm not understanding why the FBI, which they have all the surveillance, why that's even allowed anyway. Why aren't people being prosecuted? Why did Epstein's clients, why is that sealed? Why is his mistress, what was her name? Maxwell, whatever, Lazine, some weird name, I can't even say it. She's behind bars for trafficking children to nobody. Why will they not let those names come out? Because they are probably high-profile names. Rich people. Do you think that they're gonna just... Epstein is just gonna hang out with poor people? I mean, it's pretty apparent that he hung out with rich, famous people. And when you put two and two together, Epstein and his woman were being prosecuted for, and she got prosecuted, so it's not fake news. She got prosecuted for it, and she's behind bars currently for it. And they hung out with really, and it could be, and you know what? It could be people that I support. It could be somebody like Trump in there. And if he is, he should be prosecuted as well. Dude, I'm not one of these fucking NPCs that just like, oh my leader. No. If they're prosecuted, they should have the book thrown at them. If not prosecuted, if they're found guilty. If they're found guilty, they should have the book thrown at them. But you see, we're in a two-tier fucking system where the elites can do whatever the fuck that they want and nothing happens to them. But us peasants on the fucking lower spectrum of life, the ones who produce shit, the ones who serve them, we have to follow fucking rules. They don't have to wear masks. We have to wear masks. They don't have to take a vaccine. We have to take a vaccine. Do you see a problem here? They don't have to worry about climate change, and they can eat their steaks and not have to worry about cow farts and have fly around the world for awards like Leonardo DiCaprio and profess about climate change. And maybe that's what's happening. Maybe the world, maybe we're doomed because of climate change. I don't know. But I know that these elites, they want to sit up here on their high horse and tell us how to live, but they live a completely different way. And we are essentially slaves. And this is where my name comes from. This is where my brand comes from. Enslaved ones. People say, oh, what do you know about being enslaved? You're not black. Like, what is anybody? Nobody was physically owned unless you're human trafficked nowadays. Slavery ended here in America over 150 years ago, and the last place to ban it was in Africa, I think in 1980. So I think that people are enslaved by the monetary system, and that's where my name comes from. That's where I got the name, because I see that we are enslaved by the fucking monetary system. And it don't matter if you're on welfare, somebody like me who is upper class poverty level or lower class middle class, if you're upper class, if you're a multi-millionaire, if you're even almost a billionaire, you're still enslaved by your fucking money. You have all these responsibilities now because of your money, and you have to worry about shit. You don't have the freedom to say what you want. Because it could affect people. Let's say I had a business, right? And I employed 1,000 people. Well, if I say something really dumb, right? And I'm famous, and it gets out there, and then my business goes bankrupt, those lives just got affected by my dumb mouth, by me saying something stupid. So the more notoriety you have, the more money you have, you are more responsible now of things you say and do than the average person like me. I'm just a fucking grunt. Like, let's take my job for instance. I am given, and this happens a lot where places where I work, and I end up quitting and going somewhere else, like, which I'm going to do here. I'm going to quit this job, and I'm going to go somewhere else. It's going to be the same fucking thing, unless I can't get another job because mass layoffs happen, and we go to a depression type of deal, which scares the shit out of me. I am lower. I'm on the lower. I'm always at the bottom, right? And I'm given more responsibilities, but I'm not compensated, right? And a lot of people can relate to this, where you're given more responsibility and you're not compensated for it. But it's like, I don't have to talk to my coworkers, right? So my actions don't affect anybody. The only thing it affects is, like, maybe people look at me weird. But who does that hurt? It just hurts me. When they look at me weird, they talk behind my back, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But if I was a person of leadership, I have to talk to people. I have to maintain a level of morality in a crew I'm in charge of, or an establishment I'm in charge of. And if you don't, it creates a toxic environment. And that's why a lot of people in upper management are fucking, it's toxic. They're toxic. There's a complete disconnection with them and their lower employees. A lot of them never did the job, or they forgot where they came from. The worst is when somebody comes in an establishment who has authority and they have no idea how the place is ran, and they don't get to know anybody, or like they're in charge of a ton of people, which I understand you can't get to know everybody. But I've seen it with supervisors too, where they just don't give a shit. And it's because of the turnover. Well, why is the turnover rate high? It makes me think some of these companies want turnover rate because people... I remember this job I used to work at, it made me think that, it probably wasn't the case, but I always had the feeling they want to get rid of people that topped out, right? And they wanted to replace them with workers that were not skilled, not as skilled, obviously, but it doesn't take like 20 years. It doesn't take 10,000 hours to master that skill of the job I was doing. But they wanted to get rid of topped out employees and their benefits and all that, and then replace them with newer workers who are on shittier contracts, right? And this is what I never understood about the union I was in. Was fucked up, man. Like, we all were on different contracts. Like, how the fuck is that? How the fuck is that? Well, basically, people who are newer, or people who haven't even started there yet, or future employees, get fucked over, so old employees get to keep their shit. And that's looked at like, oh, well, I've been here so long, so I get it. Well, you don't give a fuck about the future? What if one of your kids work here, man? You don't give a fuck about them? That is a fucking boomer mentality right there. Fuck the kids. Fuck the future. I'm just gonna worry about my fucking self. Like, how selfish? How selfish is that? That's why I don't like fucking unions, man, because they're fucking garbage. They were good back in the day, but now they're just fucking corrupt. They're gonna take my money that I have to pay them, that I don't need to pay them because I'm a good employee. I'll fucking show up. I'll show up if it's a good place to work every single day and do my fucking job. But these places can't manage places. Man, I worked at places where we were fucked because we didn't have enough staff. And I worked at places where we were fucked because we were overstaffed. And when I get to the point where myself, where we have so many people, we are overstaffed, because I don't want to sit here. I can socialize a little bit, man. I don't want to socialize all fucking day, man. I just don't. I fucking hate it. If I'm socializing, it's better for me to be doing something to keep myself occupied, because I got ADHD, than fucking sitting there just like... I always hated fucking get-togethers. I've always hated parties and shit. You just fucking sit there like... But I lack purpose. I don't feel like I have a purpose. There's no purpose for me to be there. Can anybody relate to this, where this happens to me a lot? This if you want to know how I am in person, I mean, you can see this with my videos, but how I'm in person with interacting with other people, it's kind of like people expect me to talk, and then I don't, and then they feel weird. And then when I actually do talk, they cut me off. They cut, like, in all all circumstances. They cut me off. They don't want to know what I'm talking about. The stuff I want to talk about, they don't want to talk about. The only time that I'm good in social situations where people kind of respect me is when I'm in a kind of a good mood, or I come up with something clever with humor, and I make them laugh. Because sometimes I can. Sometimes my humor, if I'm comfortable with people, I'm comfortable with that situation at that moment, everything clicks, and I can come up with something really clever and make people laugh. But I feel like I just disappoint everybody all the fucking time. Like, they expect me to be like this ultra social person, outgoing, and I'm just fucking not, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be that fucking person. I even tried. I tried in my life, but I still had the same results. The same results was people cut me off. They don't want to hear what I have to say, or what I say they just don't relate to at all, and they look at me like I'm fucking weird. And it's so weird because, like, I'll say something, and I'll be like, "Hey, let's do this," and they'll look at me like I'm fucking retarded. And then a week later, they fucking do it. It makes sense then, because I can see shit. I can connect dots and see something that's gonna happen, something that needs to be done. And it's just weird to me when I'm working somewhere and I give a recommendation for something, an idea, it gets shit on, and I get looked at like I'm a fucking idiot, and then they go through with it in a week or a month or 2 months. It's baffling to me, and this is why I feel like I don't get respect, I don't get credit, and my potential will. I feel like I got a lot of fucking potential for a lot of different avenues, but it will never be met. And I'm always going to be a fucking gutter piece of shit in this fucking reality.